Welcome back to Market Call. I'm John Ehrlichman on the Bloomberg Market Set. Just getting ready for what we're going to be covering at the top of the hour. Watching the markets, trying to hold on to gains today. Tech had a nice rally, started to pull back, but outside of the stock performance, there are a lot of big stories we're tracking today. Jim Anderson of Glasswing Ventures will be joining us. Have you seen what Elon Musk is once again saying about this big Twitter deal? Basically, it sounds like he wants to see some big action before pulling the trigger on that $44 billion transaction. And then, of course, big day for Apple. They are going to be working with developers and showing them all their new software. A lot of people wondering, Andy, whether they're going to have some details on their new AR/VR headset, the next big thing. We've been waiting a long time for Apple to show us something there. Anyway, Doug Clinton, longtime Loop Ventures tech watcher, is going to join us, all coming at the top of the hour. Back to you.
John, thank you very much indeed. Augmented reality, I am looking forward to that. Let's get to top picks from Stephen Takacsy. Stephen, your number one idea, Savaria, the maker of equipment for helping people get around, mobility equipment.
Right, yeah, we've talked about this one in the past. Listen, they're a global leader in home accessibility and patient handling. So they make home stair lifts and home elevators, as well as ceiling lifts for long-term care facilities. They made a transformative acquisition last year. They bought Handicare of Sweden, which now makes Savaria the largest player of accessibility equipment in the world. They have a record backlog right now, and they've given guidance for a 20 to 30% increase in EBITDA this year, from 100 million to 120 to 130 million in the current year. And the stock is, which was getting a little pricey at one point, is down over 30% on the usual temporary margin compression from higher freight costs. So it gives investors an excellent entry point into a very unique and well-managed business. It's now trading at only about 10 times EBITDA, pays a 3.5% dividend. So you have huge, demographic tailwinds from the aging population. Supporting you for decades to come. So really a great management team and a great business.
Jameson Wellness, the vitamin and nutrition giant.
Yeah, this is one of our newest positions. We'd watched it since the IPO and always thought it was crazy expensive, trading at 35 times earnings. We found a nice entry point in the low to mid 30s recently with the market downdraft. They're Canada's #1 consumer health brand of vitamins and supplements with 25% share of the market. Been growing organically in Canada and also abroad. Their international sales are growing quite rapidly. They tend to team up with Costco when they open up in other countries. China has been a huge growth area for them. They have great EBITDA margins, over 22%. And last week, they just so happened to announce a large acquisition in the U.S. of NutraWise, finally giving them a platform into the U.S., and they only paid about 9.5 times EBITDA, so a discount to what they're trading at. And there seems to be some great synergies possible between the two companies. And again, this company is benefiting from the huge mega trends of aging population, health and wellness, et cetera. And it's a much better entry point to come in now with the stock price down, and the earnings per share have increased quite significantly over the last 2 years. So you're getting in at a P in the low 20s instead of the mid 30s. So good time to get in.
And finally, Boralex was one of your favorite clean energy ideas.
Yeah, years ago we mentioned Boralex. They're one of Canada's fastest growing renewable energy producers, mainly in wind, solar, and hydro in Quebec and France, with long-term purchase power agreements. Just last week, Boralex announced they were one of the big winners in the New York State contracts that were awarded. They were awarded 5 solar farms for 540 megawatts, so like 22% of all the contracts that were awarded last week went to Boralex, which is going to increase their production by 20%, and they have projects in the pipeline which will help them double their capacity between now and 2025. And they're also really well positioned in Europe. They're one of only 2 companies, Boralex and Northland Power, that have a large presence in Europe. And as we know, Europe wants to get away from Russian fossil fuels and accelerate their renewable power production. So they're in a really good position, and valuations have come way down in the sector. And in fact, Boralex just sold 30% stake in their wind assets in France for a huge premium to what they themselves are trading at. So that just shows you the value and quality of their asset base. So I think, there's a lot of hype right now in the oil and gas sector, but let's not ignore that renewable energy is a mega trend for decades to come as well.